And that was very good of you for doing that.
Thanks.
That was a very great moment to realize that you have came up a long way.
Aww,
Okay.
thanks.
Welcome back to another episode of Las Bueninos Vamos, mi gente.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back.
If you see me side viewing over here, is because I was trying to see if she was gonna come, even though I tried to clap very low.
It's okay. We're a trio now.
¿Verdad?
Yes.
Well, I hope everybody had a great week.
Yes, guys. I hope you guys did.
And
we sure did.
At the same time, happy long weekend, Memorial weekend. Hopefully you guys are with your loved ones.
Well, when we post it, it's going to be past that already, right?
Not.
No? Oh, it's going to be this week. I totally forgot.
Yes.
I get confused because we usually film on Saturday and then we post it the following week. I don't know. Ya me hice bola. But yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to the 3-day weekend because I sure am. What are you looking forward to do, Lenchito? Sleep in?
Yes, I guess so. And I'm able to this weekend because I took care of everything else that I needed to do.
I know. Is that what you were talking about? You're like, well, I'm glad I got it done this week because if not, I was going to have to work on it this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you did.
Because I was like, why I just didn't do it on a long weekend? But then I was like, well, the benefit of that is that I don't have to worry about it with my long weekend.
I know. And we don't have anything planned, which is good. I feel like it's good that we don't have anything planned. I mean, I did want to just take off to Arizona, but there was a couple of expenses that came up, but it's okay. But thank you for fixing my car, Lenchito.
Well, yeah, I guess talking about expenses and fixing your car, somebody decided to pay me with a dinner date.
It was a nice little dinner. I've been wanting to go to two, guys. Ya sabes que se nos hizo.
Because she's an Italian favorite meal type of person over here.
I think I was Italian in my past life.
So yeah, basically we went to Italian food. After that, Margarita had a little sweet tooth. And she was like, should we go to the casino San Manuel and grab what you wanted there? A macaroon? Macaroon.
Or just like any dessert because they have really good desserts there.
Several
they have
type
cake.
Of desserts there.
Yeah, they have cake. They have ice cream. No, it's not ice cream. It's gelato. So they have a bunch of different desserts. I was like, ay, quiero ir mejor.
Pero then que creen, me puso una pero. Porque era una condición. And I was like, what the heck? How can you do that to me? It's not like I didn't tell you, I'll fix your car, but as long as you give me this. But all of a sudden, somebody was able to.
No, it's because, what he's talking about for context, I had said, let's go to the casino to go get a dessert. But I was like, pero no vamos a jugar, okay? We're not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yo te quería disparar the dessert and dinner.
Yeah, but nobody said we were going to use your money.
I know, but I didn't want you to blow your hard-earned money. That's it. You know me and casinos. I am a penny pincher, or I'm a cheapskate when it comes to just letting my hard-earned money go like that. That's why I don't play casinos. That's why I don't do no scratchers. I get them for you every now and then, but for me, no. I don't want to lose my money nomás así de embalde.
Well, that's a different mentality because if you don't risk anything, you don't gain anything.
Yeah, it's true. But I would rather maybe get a promotion or something like that, earn money that way.
That is correct, but not in my mind, Yeah. But from there, then, with that condition that she put on me, she's like, no, let's just go to Dairy Queen and get a cherry dip ice cream cone. But, I'm over here being a princess passenger. So she was over here driving like I'm going to be a princess passenger in a little bit. And, I'm just paying attention to my phone, looking down, and she goes in one little street that it becomes the gas station. And she's like, is it here? And we pulling up to a gas station. I was like, no, it's the other one. She's like, oh, man. So then she gets out and she attempts again to go to, Dairy Queen. And this time she pulls up to another parking structure or parking lot that it was, what is that one? KFC? Del Taco.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, darn it. I pulled up on the wrong one again. Mm-hmm. So then she pulls up to Del Taco, and now again she has to pull out and go to the correct place, that is Dairy Queen. We finally get there, and we see a big old line. So from there, there's another one all the way to Rialto.
Pause. No, wait. Why did we leave that one?
Oh,
Why did we
because
leave that Dairy Queen?
somebody was backing up from the drive-through line.
Yeah, so they were backing out. So like in my mind, I was like, okay, you know what? There's a reason why they're pulling out. Maybe she's been there for quite some time. That's
Correct.
why.
That is true. So then you decided, let's go ahead and go to the Rialto one. That it's about 10 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm being the passenger princess on my phone, and she's pulling up to the freeway. And now take it over. But again, all this context about, her pulling up to different parking lots, just saying that because for me, I think I would have went off on you with the situation that happened because like you had already done 3 mistakes, right? So like I could have just been annoyed already and be like in the mindset of like, she's not really paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? So that's why I said all of that because there's more into it further on to the story. But now we're gonna let you say the actual story.
So we get into the freeway, and it's mind you 10 miles. I was like, I'm just gonna. I always go to the quote unquote fast lane, so that because I'm not gonna get off anytime soon. So I was like, let me just merge all the way over. When I was on the third lane, on the third lane from the left, there was a car, that was going a little bit slower. I was like, okay, let me move over to the left. And of course, mind you, I feel like I'm a cautious driver. Yes, a veces se te va la onda and you're like, oh shoot, how I've been driving. But anywho, I check my mirrors, and then of course I have sensors. Even though I have sensors, I always do like the shoulder check. Like I move my body all the way through just to make sure there's nobody on my blind spot. Right? Which is a safe thing to do. So when I checked my mirrors, I saw that there was a motorcycle coming. Mind you, okay, the motorcycle was way the F back. Okay, they were way, way, way back. I want to say probably more than 10 cars back. Okay, because you were barely able to see their lights. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I have, like, it's not like I'm going to be cutting them off or anything. So I merged over to the far left lane. And okay, I'm driving, whatever. And then, I want to say I was driving for like a couple of seconds already. And then next thing you know, I see it. I hear the motorcycle. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I see them go to the left-hand side. I'm like, weird. So typically when you see a motorcycle here in California, they're allowed to split lanes. So what people typically do just to be courteous, they move over to the left. So that already should have already told me, oh shit, they're probably not happy. So I started moving over to the right a little bit just to give them room. And then they pull over to the left-hand side and they punch my left mirror. My left, how do you say, what did you say? My left rear mirror, whatever it is.
The left side view mirror.
The left side view mirror. So they punch it. So as soon as they punch, I'm like, what the hell? And I probably thought that I didn't think the same thing that you did, but I thought maybe you had paid attention, but you didn't react. You're like, what the heck? What the heck happened? You said what? Like that I had hit something or that I hit them? No. What was your thought?
But so that's like I wanted you to give the full story. So that's basically all that happened.
Yeah,
and fast, quick paced.
Yeah, everything just happened so quick. And I didn't even think about like taking a picture or anything or coming after them. Because remember, I was like, okay, you know what, whatever, like it happened, like it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to make a big deal about it. And I know you told me like, oh, at least catch up to them so you can take a picture of them. But I didn't even think about that because I was thinking, me and road rage. I'm like, screw it. I do not want to be involved. If anything ever happens to me, pues ya me pasó, Y hasta que pues me pasó, unfortunately. But mind you, I was not... I'm mindful and I have some knowledge as far as, motorcyclists. I know they're not able to stop right away. So I'm not going to stop maybe like I'm not going to merge in front of them a couple lanes back, a couple cars back. If they're like a couple cars back for the lane that I'm trying to switch to. So I'm mindful of that. So, but again, they were way back. Pero por sus huevos se enojó because, they probably could have just like split through the lanes and I could have moved over for them just like you normally do. Pero no, por sus huevos, they wanted to, maybe I got in their way. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the other fun part that we're gonna go into it with all your emotions and reactions right now, and then we're gonna go a little bit more in deep on that. So now my story of the whole situation, I was on my phone all this time again when she was moving from right to left, and I do remember looking up before you move to the actual left lane. That's the fast lane. So we are there for about at least 5 seconds. So I'm still on my phone. I do realize that you're in the fast lane, but I hear the motorcycle as well. But this time the motorcycle sounded a little bit different because usually you will hear it on your right side because that is how they split lanes.
Yeah.
Going to the right. So I hear the motorcycle, but at the same time, I guess I didn't really realize that you were fully in. I'm not too sure, but I hear el putazo basically. And this is when I look up because I already hear the motorcycle being like more towards the middle of the car. So when I hear the motorcycle in the middle of the car, el putazo, that's when I actually look up and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And I was like I look over, you're not saying much.
Because I'm just like, what the heck just happened? Like, seriously? Like, why did they even do that?
So I'm looking to you and you're not saying much until you finally realize that I'm looking at you, I guess. That's when you're like, what the hell was that? So then that makes me think like, okay, she hit something or the motorcycle. You know, she hit the motorcycle. That's my first thing of thought. So I look up and I see the motorcycle, but then I see the motorcycle being okay. So it wasn't like you freaking, you know, threw him off the road or anything like that. So I look up and then I'm like, what the hell? So I'm looking at the motorcycle. And again, I can't really picture him I think he was looking back, but I don't really remember his hand gestures or anything like that. But then, you know, you were like, oh, he broke my mirror. By that time, I guess he realized there was more than two people or something. And that's when he took off. Just finally took off. It took him a little bit. So then for me, I was like, you know, you didn't say much either. And I was like you could have just said like, take a picture or gave me a warning sign kind of in my mind. And I was like, why you didn't say anything, like, you know, if you knew he hit you. So then by then it was a little bit kind of, we were still able to see him, but I was like, well, yeah, that's when I said we should just got his license plate or something. So you decided to go ahead and listen to me and started going. But then at the same time, you were telling me, well, you know, I wasn't thinking of following him because, you know, people were in their road rage. I don't want him to pull out something. And I was like, well, yeah, but we could have just got his, you know, his license plate. So we tried to get his license plate. We're not even halfway of where we're going. And you do speed up. But then again, in my mind, even though I was the person that told you like we should follow him, I was like, you know what? Just never mind. Let it go. It's like, it's not worth it for us to get a ticket anymore and make it even worse.
Or getting into a car accident or even hitting them. See, at that moment when I didn't even think about like going to go get their picture, I wasn't going to go after them. But I was thinking, okay, well, I was like, what would Lorenzo think? I'm like, I know I would have thought maybe you would be upset if I tried to go after them. Because what if like they put their brakes or something, we hit them, we hit another car, you know, whatever the case may be. I just thought about the worst case scenario. See, sometimes it's good to think worst case scenarios in these situations. No?
No, I mean, again, this is your part of the story. So if that's what you feel, but then, you know, just a little side note, I told you like, well, so I guess let me say this first. I was like, you told yourself, okay, USA, you know, you told yourself, USA, let it go. Once we were like, just let it go, right? Yeah. You control yourself and you said to yourself, just USA, it's okay. And that was very good of you for doing that.
Thanks.
You know, that was a very great moment to realize that you have came up a long way.
Aww,
okay.
Thanks.
Because I put myself in your shoes and I was like, again, I'm a very good observer, like what's going on. And like if I would have left him to saw him in the left, I would have said that would have been weird. I probably would have just moved to the right if I could. Stuff like that, or like, reacted and got my camera, or even worse, maybe, that little angry person that maybe still inside of me freaking hit him or something. And I was like, damn, she didn't react that way. So that was great for me to see.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And I did want to, once I saw them moving over, I would have moved over to the right, but there was a car already next. I don't know if you remember, there was a car next to us. So when I merged, like I was pretty much, ya iba para allá. And then, so that's why I couldn't move over. I think, or maybe ya había pasado el carro, but whatever. Yeah, I tried to move over just to get out of the way. And yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, damn, after like everything happened, I was like, if I was that person, like you said, like that angry person, or just anybody, right? Like it could have been anybody. I could have just hit them with my car. Or what if I didn't want to hit them with my car, and because I got scared and my reaction was, to swerve, and, some way, somehow I swerved and I hit them. So I'm just like, and I honestly feel like maybe this isn't the first time they've done it. And it was 2 people on the bike. I don't know if you remember seeing.
No, again, I just looked up and I was like, I just saw like a figure and I remembered somebody kind of looking back, but I didn't see the gestures. Like I didn't know if they were flipping us off or anything like that. I just remember them like looking at us.
No, I don't remember that.
Then I was like, I think it was even before this or after this, I told you like, hey, like, why, like we now, like move over to the right, if you see something like that fishy. And I was like, and I did ask you because I had coworkers back in AutoZone that had bikes, and they literally have told me like, oh, I punch cars, I kick the cars' doors. So I knew from that mindset of what they have or they've told me that you might have done something wrong. And that's why I asked you, like, did you cut them off? Because if you made them mad for whatever reason, like cutting them off, they would do that. Yeah. And I knew that. So that's why I asked you. But I wasn't trying to blame you for it. It was just more of a question. Like, I know they do that. So, like, kind of like what happened?
No, yeah, that's the thing. That's why, like when I explained earlier, and I know you weren't trying to blame me, by the way. But mind you, I'm telling you, like, I'm mindful and I respect bikers because I know that they can't brake with as fast as a car can, or, they can't, and they don't have anything protecting them, So just keeping those things in mind, and I'm aware of that. And there's some motorists that have absolutely no knowledge of that. So I'm like, they should be thankful that I know this stuff. But I'm telling you, they were like way back. So a lo mejor venían en putiza, and by the time that they got to me, they're like, oh, well, the road's mine, so I'm gonna knock your thing off. So I'm like, maybe I did. Maybe I don't know. I really don't feel like it was justified for them to break my mirror for that reason. Maybe I'm telling you, I feel like that's something that they're used to. I get it. Maybe that motorcyclist probably had a bad incident with somebody else, or maybe one of their friends were probably, unalived by another car because of maybe something dumb, So I get it. There's probably anger that they had because of that. So
I know, but I don't wish upon, and I know you told me don't wish upon, but I do feel like there's karma. So whatever happens, like I just feel like in a situation, if something happens and them not reacting to being like, why did this happen to me? It's like, no, mister, you brought this negative energy towards you. Yeah. So don't question it, because you obviously, your actions made this happen with the karma situation.
Karma, honey, I'm telling you, like, don't say anything specific because you don't want to put that out there like that. That's what I was telling you, like, because I feel like even that can even come up to you. That's why I said, do not wish bad upon anybody. It's kind of like bad magic, right? Like you're wishing, like you're doing this bad thing to someone. So yeah, something bad might happen to them, but then it can probably come back to you. So that's how I was like, and I know we were upset. I know we were upset about the situation, but I'm like, just let karma, Diosito do their thing, if they even want to do a thing. But I'm just like, you know what? We had a nice afternoon. Thank you for fixing my car. There's something else that you need to fix. No, but thank you. I mean, it's just, it happened. I'm glad it wasn't their life that was in danger. I mean, they did put themselves at risk. I'm glad they were okay. I'm glad we're okay. We went to go eat our ice cream. Ya casi no quería comerme mi ice cream, pero casi me lo acabé todo.
Mm-hmm.
And you got your ice cream, and we had a nice afternoon.
Yeah, I guess you're correct, but I then thought about it as well. Good thing it was just a side view mirror and not your door,
Or the
not your
window.
window, because again, it could have been more expensive or even worse. I mean, if the side view mirror itself just ricocheted like on the door
Yeah.
and made damage now just by a window getting,
Mm-hmm.
broken and the speed that we were going and the wind. I mean, we could have probably got cut pretty bad, or you could have got cut pretty
Yeah.
bad if
Mm-hmm.
they would attempt the window actually of the
Yeah.
door.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I wanted to ask you. So, how did you develop this? Of handling the situation. But before we get into that, I want to give you this little post that I saw. And this guy's explaining that he does look Japanese, but he's speaking in Spanish, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And he's saying that in Japan, people say that this person has a very strong character, or in Spanish, carácter, right?
Fuerte.
Carácter fuerte. So the person that, that they tell this to, they look at this person and they look at him, but he looks like a very serious person, but nothing else. So, for example, if they go and mess with him by physical, verbally, he just like goes on his day. He doesn't mind it,
Okay.
So then he says, well, in the Latino or Hispanic community, instead we say tiene un carácter fuerte, and they basically throw a fit, get angry, start trying to be anybody.
Yeah.
So his characteristic is not that it's strong, it's more that it's weak because he's not able to handle his emotions.
That's how it's perceived out there? Or who perceives it?
And
that way?
Latinos.
In Latino. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. That you're considered weak and...
Well, you're really showing that you're weak because
Yeah.
you're not able to control your emotions, your character. As the Japanese person in Japan, his character might be as, strong, but his more of just serious and go upon his day. Even though if somebody's trying to bully him, pick on him, push his buttons, he still holds his image high.
Yeah. And I like that. And I get the whole, I'm not too familiar with the Japanese side, but I know with the Latino side, it's always been like, no, like protect what's yours. I mean, at least from my upbringing, we grew up in a pretty big family. So I feel like we kind of had to like be, territorial sometimes and fight for ourselves or fight for certain things.
But I don't think that's a great thing to have.
Yeah.
Because if you would have reacted the same way to the motorcycle, imagine what would have happened. So that's what I'm saying. I think you have grown to be able to have this Japanese character of a strong character. And I think that you do see Japanese at that level because I see them more like crafts, they're very crafty. Like, let's say, for example, sushi, they like to cut it some way. They like their fresh fish. They like to like put it on the plate,
A certain
way. Let's say like like a sport or something. They're just very crafty.
Very meticulous, yeah.
Correct. So that's why I feel like we're able to really say that about Japanese just for what we can see on the outside. But yeah, I can say that as Latinos, heck no. We, as you mentioned, we always trying to fight. I mean, we see it just on a freaking football game and a soccer game, how much they go about no se diga Dodger game, There's always something said about, there's always a fight at Dodgers and stuff like that. So I do relate with that. And I've been that person that has grown. So tell us a little bit, how did you get your character stronger?
I mean, I guess I can start off with, but it has to do with maturity too. With maturity, and then the people that you surround yourself with. Because you know how they say, you are who you hang out with.
Okay.
Si te dejas, right? Si te dejas, because, I don't know. I guess I'll leave it at that. Si te dejas. And then for me, again, the people that you surround with, like you, I feel like you played a really big part on it because for many, many, many years, you know, no, again, no sé cómo me has aguantado, but, you know, I have had, how would I say, not explosive, but I was very reactive instead of, ¿cómo se
I
dice?
think it was both, sort of.
Reactive, explosive?
Yeah.
I guess. Just with you, but nobody really got to see that part.
Well, not with me, but
No, not
me
with you.
being
Yeah.
with you at
Yeah,
that
meaning
time
like certain
already.
situations, and that was because that's the way that I was able to express myself, which was like with like yelling. And again, it's the same thing with the upbringing. We couldn't really, we didn't learn how to express our emotions, and I
Right.
still don't. I'm still that's something that I'm still learning on, how to express my emotions rather than reacting, because there's something responding versus reacting. So it's better to respond rather than to react on impulse, and that's what I would do. I would react on impulse, and you know, you had part to, ¿cómo se dice? Tú tenías parte de eso, you know, with my growth, and then also one of my sisters, and I think I've said it before. Yeah, I have said it before on here, that one of my sisters was like, "Oh, you get upset for like the smallest things," and I was like, "I guess I do." And even after that, like it just turned another switch. Like, damn, I really do. And it's something that you had been telling me over and over and over again. And then also también, like maybe seeing like posts here and there on people like motivating you to, you know, kind of like let it go, like really analyze the situation. Do you really need to react this way? And with this situation, I was like, okay, one, safety. You're with me, and if I would have gone after them, you know, both of us could have gotten hurt. I probably, and actually on my way home today, I was like, dang, if I would have reacted and, you know, something bad would have happened, I wouldn't have been driving home today. I probably would have been in jail. I probably, you know, whatever the situation was. And even though I thought I was over it, but I'm still just thinking about these things that could have happened if I would have decided to react.
Yeah, and I can see the emotion still, because like I was just trying to tell the story, like, you know, from the beginning, like, look, you went inside here, you went inside there, and you were already acting like, oh, I was trying to say you weren't a good driver. But no, it had to be a setup for the situation, as like I could have responded that type of way, like why you don't pay attention, you know, or like you did it here, like I know you weren't paying attention. That's why I was saying that, because again, you know, that little thing that could have been happening like at the beginning could have triggered something else in the freeway.
Yes, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I think we were thinking the same thing right now.
Yeah.
That, you know, if you would have been like, oh my gosh, and I already would have been tense, and then I went into the wrong parking lot again, and I would have been like, oh my gosh, like already irritated, and I probably could have like booked it and I've been upset. Pues chinga tu madre también, boom, you know, hit her or something like that. Pero no, like it was good, and it feels good. It really feels good to know that I reacted that way.
Yeah.
And I would, again, I wasn't going to go off and take over them, but I was like listening to you. I was like, what were Lorenzo? I was like, hey, Lenchito said I'll do it. I was like, I'm gonna go and do it. But I think next time, no, I get it. And you were totally
and
right.
I just said it just because we were still be able to see him, you know, and like again, we weren't gonna chase him. I mean, thankful for these camera phones that have 10 zoom and stuff. Like we were gonna just try and get close enough to get a license plate and pull a report almost, because yes, if they've done it to us, they were going to keep on doing. And it was almost like, hey, you need a kind of like a lesson, or hey, if the report's out there, I don't even know if they were going to take a report, but at least they already, you know, let's say highway patrol or cops already knew that they had a tendency of just doing
that.
this.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Yeah. You know, not to keep going over and over again, but you know, one, if they've done it before, they know to cover up their license plate.
Could be.
Two, you know, let's say we were trying to come after them. We don't know if they have if they're armed. So maybe they could have, you know, just turn around. There was 2 people on the bike, so they could have just turned around, and then boom, there goes one of us.
Yeah.
So it's just like, pa' qué, you know?
Yeah, I know. I get it. Again, I mean, you're saying like, what will Lenchito do? Again, Lenchito and you're 2 different people at that time, and you basically reacted correctly. And you know, another thing you were asking me when I was doing or fixing your car, and I mean, I already know you. I know how you get when I'm working on something. And I'm going to say something as well as me, that it's probably not something that you see it and you don't like it. But I think it's the same way as me, how would you say, coping with the situation. And I'm going to
Coping or coping?
Coping with the situation. Thank you. So, when I think when we left or when we got to the restaurant, the first thing you tell me, again, because we've been working on the car all day and I had an A, and you're like, how are you so patient? So this already started like from here. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I just built it. And then I always remember this of my dad, because he was a very impatient person. And and it's funny because field that I went into, sometimes you really have to be patient. And obviously you saw me trying to be very patient, especially with the heat. You hate the heat. And I think the bad part is that you trying to like help me by little things, like you want water, you want this, because I know you're probably looking at me and like being like, how is he going about it so patiently? But inside of me, I'm like that Japanese person that I'm just trying to get it done. And I'm so focused at the time that I'm kind of like blocking everything out. And you are probably looking at it like he's stressing out, or he's hot, or the sun is beaming on him. You get me? You're looking at it in a different way.
Yeah.
And for me, I basically do not, like, I kind of ignored you. Get me? And I know that's a bad thing from me. But like,
you didn't ignore me. You're just kind of like I'm good. Like, yes, I came up to ask you, but you didn't ignore me. Like, ignoring me was that, if I asked you something and you didn't say anything
well,
back.
it would take a little bit longer to answer you sometimes, just because I was there.
You were focused. You were in your groove.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then when my dad, when we would do something, and he would see it, he would see me doing something, he would react almost like what you would, because he'd be like, "Hi, Lorenzo," but I guess he would do it like not consciously, because again, he was so good at what he used to do that, I mean, if you're a person that you're good, or you love to do, or you love what you're doing, and this is just my way to thinking, I think he would talk to himself almost and be like, trying to figure the situation, almost like focus, just like me. So he would say it. And obviously, if you guys don't know, my name is Lorenzo, just like his. So I am a junior. But then he would react and be like, oh no, el senior. You get me? Because what if I would react to him like
what am I doing?
Like, what am I doing? What the heck? So that always reminds me of like back to that, and be like, oh yeah, like I know that my dad saw that I grew or grown in this situation, that I wasn't very impatient like him.
Well, with the whole situation about like, me going back and check on you, I do it more because I was just like, dang, like I should have just gone to go pay for it. We could have, it took you a couple of hours to replace whatever needs to be replaced. And I'm like, we could have been doing something else. I could have just dropped it off at the shop, and, somebody else works on it. And we could have been doing something. Maybe we could have gone hiking. Maybe we could have recorded, whatever the case, whatever it is that we wanted to do. But that's the thing. No, but that's good. I like that. That we both, I feel like we both, we've grown. We still have growing to do, right? I, at least for myself, I feel like I still have growing to do, especially with like expressing my emotions. Because I don't know if you've noticed. I don't know if you noticed that I've been like, what questions have you? You feel like they're like weird questions. Like, why are you asking me this right now?
Oh, well, I think you cut off and you didn't really say like why you've been asking these questions, or like why these random questions. But what?
That's because I'm trying to work to communicate with you like the way that I'm feeling, but by the way that I ask you is so that you can. I want to see what your response is, just so that I can like I guess kind of use you as like a guide, almost. Does that make sense? Like how do you express your emotions? Because I feel like we don't express our emotions to each other. Like, and I can be like, ay, ¿cómo va? Because I've seen this grandma that was teaching her grandson how to express his emotions of what he's feeling. Because I guess his grandpa might have done something and the grandma was guiding him. Okay, she was telling him grandpa, and she was having him repeat after him. Like, grandpa, and then he would say, grandpa, I don't like that you do X, Y, and Z because it makes me feel like this. So I think that's where I'm trying to gauge it to, because that's how I want to be able to express it. But then it's just like, okay, depending on the response that you give me, it's just like, how do I drive it to where my feelings are still being validated and your feelings are still being validated without me feeling like you're not validating my feelings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't think we really talked about that type of situation. I mean, I think you've been asking me like other random stuff about me more.
Yeah, oh no, that's something completely different. That's something completely different. I know what you're talking about, and we can probably talk about it later. But that's the thing. I feel like that's why. ¿Cómo te iba a decir? I mean, I guess that's what I want to work on, like how to express myself without, because I feel like todavía me pongo la defensiva with you. Like whenever you tell
Like
me,
earlier?
well, this and this and that.
Like earlier.
What was it about?
We already went about it, but
I can't
either
remember.
way.
Okay. And I feel like the way that I'm doing it the wrong way, because I was like, that's mean. I'm always telling you, that's mean. I don't like that. That's mean. And then like, that's it. Hasta ahí lo dejo, and I just bottle up my emotions because I don't know how to express it. I'm like, I need to go to therapy.
But then again, you got to clarify that you do stuff, and then that's when I react back to you. And that's when you say that I'm mean, because I just don't do it just to do it.
Something. See, but there's some things that like I know that I'm saying that and that's a bad thing too, because even when you're not being mean, and yes, some things I do provoke, and I get a reaction from you, and I say you're mean, but I'm kidding around. But then when I'm being serious, that's probably why you don't take me serious. But when I'm being serious, I'm like, oh, that's mean, that's rude.
No, because I feel like, okay, yes, I get that, but sometimes I feel like I react the same way as you react to me by saying something, and I don't throw a whole fit about it, or I'm not like how can I say? I don't want to say insensitive, but I'm like, okay, whatever, okay. But for you, if I say this to you, and this is a good way that you put this to, I guess, because now that I'm picturing it, I guess, yes, and I cannot see it. Because I'm like, if you do it to me, like I do it to you, but I think we do it with the same intent. Now, because you take it a little bit more harsher than what I take it. And the reason why I'm saying this, because this was going to be the second part of this, is like, for me, I feel like words were more harder for me to hear from my parents than actual them hitting me. So I took it more upon, like, their words hurt it more for me.
And they do. No, pero dice que las palabras sí hieren.
But, I guess we have to be thankful because our parents were able to change maybe part of their childhood and try not to hit us. For example, my dad, his words did really hurt me when he was disappointed, for example, at me, right? Because he was the only child, and I'm guessing, I mean, I never asked him, but I'm guessing he never really got hit from being the only child.
Yeah.
But him being disappointed, and I can count the times that he was disappointed at me, I know that, that those words did hurt. I know I'm going to give like 3. The reasons why he was disappointed, one, it was because my grades. So we always will have a talk about my grades, and I knew it was disappointment. He didn't have to hit me. The second time would be probably if I disrespected my mom. That was something he really hated. He didn't tolerate. Even though my mom would like almost make up the story so good to benefit on her. And now I think that was almost like a trigger at my end, because my sister would do the same thing. Like tell my dad a story that wasn't even true. Okay, so like my mom did it, my sister did it. So I always put my dad like not a bad person, but it was more like you put them in a higher pedestal than like the actual story.
Mm-hmm.
And the third time when my dad was disappointed was because Margarita's birthday party and I got basically blacked out. And the reason why he found out was because what I just mentioned. My mom, my sister will put these stories like almost like a fake story, not the whole true story. So I decided to, tell my dad. And my dad was coming back from Mexico on the road.
Oh.
So I called them because I was like, man, if my dad gets here and my mom gets to talk to him first, I know she's gonna make the story so big that I'm not gonna have a chance to talk to him or explain my story because my sisters have always done this and in front of me towards them.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I wasn't going to be able to explain my side. So I decided to, even though he was going to be disappointed on me, to go ahead and call him and tell him, hey, I did this.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the other reason why he was disappointed. So yes, the words do hurt more than actual physical, touch or abuse or whatever. So what about you? I mean, I don't really know if you got, la chancla or you got to get hit, or it was more of just by the words.
No, for us it was physical.
Well, there you go.
That's what hurt. But then it would just make me angry. It wouldn't make me it wouldn't make me feel like, oh my gosh, I disrespected my mom. It was more like,
yeah.
And they just I'm gonna run away. But I never ran away.
So when was the times that you already said words were more harder for you? So when was the times that whoever it was, if it was your mom or your dad, that actually, affected you more?
For the words?
I
don't remember.
No?
No. I mean, I'm telling you, it's the chanclazos that were effective. Well, not really, because sometimes we would still act out.
You would say that the words were more. I mean, I think I can see.
No, I'm saying the words was more on your end.
No, you said it earlier that for you was, that words hurt more than actual, getting hit.
That was because that's what you were talking about. So I was just
no, so you
elaborating
were just elaborating, but so
end.
For you, it's not like that.
No,
it was never like that.
Mm-mm.
I think it was. You just don't recall. For one, I would say probably I think you said that your dad just had to look over, and you know that you had to stop.
Yeah, he for him it was nonverbal cues
and that's basically one. That's sometimes the way that you react speaks louder than the actual words, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I need to work on me, and I've been trying to. I mean, I've got to not master, but almost there, the whole patience thing. But I just need to work on expressing myself to you and being able to communicate with you. The thing is that I know the psychology behind it. I know that the way that it should be addressed, but putting it in action, it's se me dificulta. I don't know why. I'm telling you, I know, por ejemplo, I don't know if this will be a good example. I know how to ride a bike, but let's say that I didn't know how to ride a bike. I know what you need to. You need to pedal. You need to balance yourself. You need to hold the handlebars. To brake, you need to do this. But the moment that I need to get on that bike, I don't know. I don't know how to balance it all together.
And plus,
does that make sense?
And plus, you'll get angry if you have training wheels on there.
And that's the thing. Okay, but learn how to ride a bike without the training wheels. So maybe that's what I need to do.
That's the first step you need to do.
That's what I thought. Oh, shoot. That's the thing. The training wheels, I need the training wheels first so I can learn how to
move forward.
But I know how to ride a bike, okay? Just
it's an example.
Yeah, just an example. That's the thing. I really do want to learn how to. And again, I know what I have to do, but I still kind of react to certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I can't remember where we were, and I think we were driving. I was like, pues me las estás tirando, tú te lo va a tirar yo también. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a reaction. That was me reacting and not responding. And it's and that's something that I've read before, that instead of doing that, the best way that you can do it is like, okay, like why are you pretty much like trying to analyze the situation, try to question why you're doing certain things that are triggering me, rather than be triggered and respond. I need to analyze and, ¿cómo se dice? No, I'm reacting. So yeah, I react instead of responding in a good manner.
And then again, that had to be with a car situation. We were on the freeway, and I'm always telling you this, I'm telling you that for the same reason, because I know how, not saying you're not a good driver, but you can not miss something or
Be
like
despistada.
yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, it can happen to. I really think it happens to anybody.
It can happen to anybody, but I just been with you in situations that I feel like.
Well, because
it just happens.
It's because
sometimes.
It's because we're together all the time, so you're going to experience those things. And I mean, I don't know if you've seen that meme or video where it's just like, oh damn, I was driving for who knows how long, and I didn't realize that I was driving until now, type of thing. Because a veces like la mente, like you have so much on your mind, and
you days off,
and it's so dangerous. But so many people go through that. Maybe
that is true, and you do that a lot, and that's why I'm always like telling you, like, hey this, hey that, because I know you do it.
But did you die?
Well, obviously I ain't trying to, and that's why I tell you stuff, and then you react so bad towards me.
And see, with that, like, I get offended. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like,
exactly.
And sometimes when there's a car coming, like, I know how to distance myself, and you're like, watch out, and I'm like, I'm like, what's going on? Like, what else is going on? I'm like, I saw the car, I'm already moving over, so just like stuff like that, where I'm just like,
but then you forget about my senses. Like, I know a car, and I know how a car drives, like from suspension to the drive line to the way it moves, right? So I know you're lying to me when I tell you, babe, just decelerate. I have decelerate, and inside of me, I'm like boiling up because I know you have not decelerated, but you mentally feel like you do. And it's almost like the situation that we were going back to Pep Boys because your alignment wasn't correct, and I was like, you will keep on moving the wheel, even though you're doing it unconsciously, because again, you just see it moving, and your brain, your physical touch, first reaction, you move it back.
Well, just to solve all these problems, I should just be passenger princess when you drive.
But that is not the point of the podcast. The point is, like, you reacted correctly, and that we're explaining why we have these situations in the freeway or when we're driving somewhere.
Absolutely. Well, there we have it. Let's not road rage. It's not safe for anybody.
But then again, you did have road rage a lot. También, right? Yes, you did.
Okay, I wouldn't like chase. Okay, let's be clear here. I never chased a car. I never anything crazy like that. No, I know
to the extent, but you did have
either
road
way.
rage.
But road rage, it can be like various things. Yes, it can be beeping like, hey, like watch what you're doing, because si te van a pegar and be like, hey, like let me alert you. That's what the thing is for.
And what a bunch of beep beep beeps and your mouth coming out.
Oh, you mother! Yes, that was me. But I've grown. Well, I mean, sometimes I'm just, there's the occasional, what are you doing? Like, go.
Yeah, I mean, that's not road rage. That's more of just acknowledging what's going on. You get me? Road rage is that you already feel some type of way, and you're like,
oh, like you're already tense. You're angry. Yeah. Like you're angry. You feel something here. You're just like, oh, yeah. Okay, give me. Not anymore. That's old Marguerite. The old Marguerite is dead and gone. Well. Kind of.
It can come upon again.
That's the thing. Like it was a part of me before, and it can be a part again. But again, it's just like you need to.
Can show up again.
That's the scary part. Very, very scary.
Yep. So yeah, guys, that was the story. Unless Margarita has something else that she would like to share.
No, that was a really long story. But I like how you added that the example with the Japanese guy and the Mexican. Well, Latinos. Some Latinos, right? We have to say some Latinos, not all the Latinos are like that. Because some have grown. Some have grown.
No, yeah, but
some are probably more. Some have parents that have been educated and they know how to handle things differently. Unlike, my parents, for example, they probably didn't know how to handle some of these situations.
Well, the thing is more for whoever can relate.
Yeah. Okay. Whoever can relate. Yeah.
But
I get you.
Yeah, so hopefully this is almost like a little flashback or motivation to be like, okay, maybe I didn't have a good week, but it's okay. I'm gonna have a 3-day weekend and I'm gonna make the best out of it. And then next week is a short week and I only have to work maybe for 4 days for some people, and I'm good with that. And just get the ball rolling.
Look at it on the bright side. Don't consume yourself so much on like certain situations.
Yeah.
Like take out those vibes. Enjoy your ice cream after, you had not so good situation. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. And then be thankful for people that know how to do some car work, maybe, or have those people around you, your small circle.
Let's keep them handy. And to end it, we do want to take another moment, just like Lenchito said at the beginning. It is Memorial Day weekend. We do want to remember and thank our soldiers who fought for our country, who fought for our freedom. We do want to remember them and thank them.
Yes, guys, as she mentioned, thank you. And hopefully we can remember them in a happy moment or happy place that we spend with them. And with that being said, you can follow me at Last One Y Nos Vamos as Lenchito.
And you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram at Your Favorite Margarita.
And don't forget to follow us on all platforms. And thank you again. Have a great rest of your day and weekend.
See you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Bye.